larger computer.
Okay.
And then let me go find Crystal, give her, make a host.
Okay, and then I hit share.
Yeah, you'll hit share.
You are now the host. There we go. All right. So I put this document together and I did send it to Cindy, and she will be happy to share that with you. So I thought I would go over this of exactly what I do prior, and then I will show you a little bit on what I look for on and that kind of thing. So obviously we check and determine which towns that we want to go to. And we go 5 hours both directions from our main residence in Derby, Kansas. We'll go to the Texas, Oklahoma Panhandle, and then we will come to Branson, Harrison, Arkansas, this direction. So we put that list together of what we'd like to do, get with Miss Cindy and make sure that those are available. I'm sure everybody knows that we have a reserved list that she polices for us. And then I put together a spreadsheet, and I did send this spreadsheet to Cindy as well. But I put find out the restaurant owner's name if I can, and then the name of the restaurant, the address, phone number, email if available, and then I leave a column for the number of tables and the population of the town. Obviously, when I do the form, I don't know how many tables are there, but since generally we have to go back to a repeated sometime, we'll say how many tables was in, and so in this form to write. And something that we have done a few times is if we find a really good restaurant, but if they only have like 10 tables, then we will find another one to pair it with. And advertisers absolutely love that, to where they can get like two restaurants for the price of one. And in a little town just south of where we live, we actually did a 2-for-1 or a 2-for-4, to where they could buy it. If they bought on both sets, they got on a total of 4 restaurants. So it was really, really cool. Put the hours that they are open. That is so helpful when you're hitting town. You're like, okay, who are my breakfast lunch places and who are my lunch dinner places? So if it's all on that sheet, you don't have to try to remember who was open when. And then on the ratings and reviews from Google, I put that on there.
Crystal,
Yes.
Crystal, if you're sharing that page, it's not showing up.
Really? And there's 3 people in the waiting room. Hold on. 4 people in the waiting room. Oh dear, where do I go to see that? Oh, waiting. Admit all. Why don't I just do that? So what do you see?
We're just seeing who is on. So if you go to your bottom area, there should be a share button. You can select it and then select to share your screen.
How about that? Can you see it now?
Double click to enter. Oh, there it is.
Okay.
Now we see it.
All right. Very good. So, yes, I was going through these items here, and thanks for telling me that. The email, if available, I leave a column for the number of tables, population of the town, the hours that they're open. That's so helpful, so that you know when, if it's a breakfast lunch place, if it's a lunch dinner place, the ratings and reviews from Google. So, 4.3 stars and 972 reviews or whatever. That's what I put in there. And I'll show you that in just a second. And then you can also check Google to see when they are the busiest, time of day, day of the week, that kind of thing. Also check the pictures on Google and their Facebook page. A lot of times you can see if maybe they already have tables that have ads on them. Sometimes you get lucky and you can see what kind of shape the tables are in. And generally those those pictures have a date. And you know, if they're really, really nice tables, that won't necessarily stop us. Because as we know, people have traded out nice tables when they get really what the concept of tabletop advertising is, and it's the community. But a lot of people just see it as tables, but it's so much more than that. And I researched their Facebook presence, again, ratings and reviews, and how often they post. I start following any restaurant we are interested in and liking their posts from our business page so that they'll see our name and will become familiar with us before we show up. I have utilized TripAdvisor and Yelp on occasion. Not as important in my opinion, but it is a resource. And Stan has called on insurance agencies, real estate agencies, basically any business like that, and gives a presentation and says, if you were to do this, what locally owned, sit down, busy, reasonably priced restaurant, good food would you suggest? And generally they're really happy to share their opinions on that. Or as Brandon does, go to Walmart and do a poll. I love that. So anyway, as Stan says, that's absolutely genius. So, and here is the spreadsheet that I did. It is nothing fancy because I am an Excel idiot. But like I said, just the owner's name, restaurant, address, telephone number, the population of the town. You could write that at the top and not take up a column, however you want to do it. And then the hours that they're open, the ratings and reviews, and then notes like Jose's here from 2 to 4 on Tuesdays or whatever note that you might need to put on that. So that is that. So let's go over here. And I need to move this out of the way so that I want to minimize Zoom, minimize that. And I want, where it is. Just talk amongst yourselves there. Oh, here we go. Here we go. All right. So here I did a search for restaurants, Woodward, Oklahoma. And we actually have done a couple of restaurants, well, 3 restaurants there. Let me look over and see if anybody else is waiting. I don't see that anybody else is waiting. Oh, admit. Yes, there is. There we go. Sorry about that, person. So we did long shots, and here's what I'm talking about when I talk about ratings and reviews. 4.3 stars, 637 reviews. Well, you know, here's Rustic Grub. Ooh, 5 stars, but they're only got 5 reviews. So they're brand new. So that is not a prospect for us. This one, we have talked to them. They are not overly crazy about the idea, but it could be a prospect down the road. But we already have 3 restaurants there. It's a possibility that that's plenty. We called on this one early on. He didn't want to play. So it's like, okay, you don't deserve our tables. And then this one, we did sign up at basically the same time we signed up long shots. And we did those projects back to back about 6 months apart. And they were both amazing projects. And then this year we did Floral and Hardy, 4.3 stars, 137 reviews. It was painful, but it was a learning process. And so we have a gentleman that's working with us out of Oklahoma, and he lives there and had worked there. And so he was familiar, but it was a good learning project for him in that, okay, don't want to do another one like that anymore. So I will go into long shots here. And here is where you can go down and you can see when they're busy. They're a little busy right now, but it will give you historically what how busy they are on whatever day. So that is just more knowledge that you will have as to whether it's a good restaurant or not. So that, and then here is their Facebook page. Long shots. That was supposed to be long shots. There, well, okay. Smokehouse in Perryton, Texas, another great example. They've got 2,700 followers, and you can see on September the 21st, they did a post. So when you have someone that is that engaged, it's a sign that it's a really good restaurant. And we just installed tables there last week. That was a second set for there. And great project, great town. We have 3 different restaurants in Perryton, Texas. Smokehouse actually has a restaurant in the front part, and then they have like a sports bar in the back. And we've done those as 2 different restaurants, 2 different projects. So, but you can get a lot of good information from their Facebook page. And as I've said, I start following any foodie groups, any of that kind of stuff on Facebook, so that when I get ready to do a post, when we found the restaurant, got them signed, that I'm ready to roll on presenting my post to those groups. And I did send Miss Cindy a document that is basically what we do from this part, looking for the restaurants, doing the blitz, going to several towns, several restaurants all in one day. From that, clear through what I do as following people, tagging people, all of that with Facebook, which in my opinion is critical. You can do it without it, but it is so much easier with it. So, any questions? Anything I forgot, Miss Cindy?
I don't think so. Pretty much, just researching there. Also, when you research, if you'll give me the host back, I'll show them a couple other things that they can do to find out other things that may come up on the Google.
Okay.
Search.
Here.
I have a question, Crystal. On that Floral and Hardy's, you said was a real challenge. What was it that made it difficult?
Finding people to buy onto the project. The lady there that owns that, she's a nice lady, but there's a lot of people in town that doesn't like her for whatever reason. And so it just made it a little bit more challenging. We didn't get it completely full, and it took longer than we like, certainly, to get what we did get.
Yeah, well, I've been there, and I hope I don't again. It's no fun with a tough one.
No, and luckily for Lester, he had was amazing, because the town loved the little gal that owned that restaurant. She had worked at the bank. She knew everything. They didn't care if they had an ad or not. They just wanted to support her. And so he really got the 180 effect of, here's what you don't want, and here is what you absolutely want. But you're not going to get that one every time, as we all know.
So you have a town, and what I normally do is, today in Missouri, for instance, put in the town and the state. And of course, you're going to get information on that area about the population and that kind of thing. You can click this map and open in map, and you're able to say nearby restaurants. With this, nearby restaurant. And a bunch of your restaurants. And like she says, you want to look at your Are we in Sedalia, Missouri? I don't think so. This does not look right.
It says
Let's back out of here. That's Sedalia, Missouri. Nearby restaurant. That is Sedalia.
Yeah, you were in it.
Well, this is definitely it. There's so many new Mexican restaurants I've not seen before. But anyway, so you definitely want to look at your, your views and stuff like that. But let's say that we wanted to, pull a specific restaurant up. Got blue going on. Huh.
You're highlighting.
Yeah, it's doing all kinds of crazy stuff. Okay. Anyway, let's say you wanted to look up one of the restaurants and find out who the owner was and things like that. So you could say, who is LS Salon in Sedalia, Missouri. It's going to give some information on who the owner is. Looks like within a group, and then a lot of times when it was established, family owned, that kind of stuff, especially if it's been around for any length of time. You can keep scrolling and be able to see like how many followers they have on Facebook. That's not their Facebook, but you can see other articles that have been written about them. You know, if there was anything else that went on, like the owner passed away. So up there it said this is the owner, I believe, and then a little bit later, and it'll have dates on these. So you kind of want to look through that because you don't want to walk into a place and ask for an owner that's passed. A lot of times if they're selling, I was doing research for someone this week, and they had sold the business to someone in like 2019, and then it was being auctioned off this last year. And so, it was a really good restaurant for like 40 some years, and then it had been sold off, and then a couple of years later auctioned off. So you kind of can get some different information by looking through here and just looking at some of the articles and stuff as well. So that's a good thing to do. Like she said, it'll also give you, the days that they're busy and when they're busy type thing. This seems to be a pretty good rate on how they are. Nothing like going there and seeing, checking on it. And then also you can click on the pictures and be able to see their tables inside and what they look like. Sometimes approximately how many tables, all that kind of good stuff. So when you're researching, that's a good way to do it, and to find out who the owner is. A lot of times what it says up here that the owner is, that is actually who the owner is. But like I said, it's good to kind of look down through the article, just make sure they haven't passed or haven't sold recently or anything like that. And, AI hasn't caught up to that information that's out there yet, because I have seen it a couple different times. So that's kind of something to check out. But another way to find out your owners and how busy your restaurants are and what restaurants are good in each town. Now you do want to, when you do this, you want to, a good Mexican, a good barbecue, a good cafe, a good pub, whatever, several different types of restaurants. So you're not looking for just the top restaurant. You want to look at it, the top Mexican, the top, barbecue and so forth when you're looking. Any questions on any of that? So how did you get into that again? You can just go like Crystal does and say restaurants in Sedalia, Missouri, or the town that you're going in, or you can just say the town or put your town in and then click on your map It'll kind of tell you whereabouts they are as well. And then you'll say nearby. We'll see if it comes up. It used to always come up with all the table restaurants that Tony did all at the top. But now we've got a lot more restaurants in town, so it looks like they've got some others on the list. And my computer is on slow. Then you say open maps. That's a new thing that they have now, so you have to actually open it. And then say nearby and restaurant. And so you kind of get a good list like she did, pulling up, and you can kind of step through them.
Well, when I
see the different ones.
kind of researching for this, if I put in Perryton, Texas restaurants, and then I put in restaurants, Perryton, Texas, they were in a different order. And there were some different ones, and I'm like, how's that work? Anyway.
Yeah. Yeah. There's several different ways. You can definitely look up restaurants in that town, and you're going to find, like, if you go in here and you just start zooming in to an area, different ones will pop up as well. So you'll find that when you start zooming in. I'm on evidently low internet tonight, so it's not working as well right now. But the other thing I wanted to show you was being able to move ads and split ads on your layout. So what you're going to do is you're going to come up to project, and you're going to go to your current projects and choose the one you want. And I'm going to choose one of Brandon's, I think. So you'll choose it and say get order info. And eventually it'll come up. Okay, so this is all your restaurant information here. So you just scroll down till you get to your table order form information, right? And you have your different size tables. So he's got 3 different size tables. This is the main one, the smallest 4-seater table. This 30 by 44 is. So that's the one we're normally going to use to put our ads on. If everything, whatever, should definitely fit on our bigger tables, correct? So if you wanted to just view it, you could click on this and your layout would pop up. I'm going to go ahead and hit the edit button because I'm going to make a change. So you're going to hit the edit button. And then you're going to see where it says design table layout. Click on that. We still have the smallest 4-seater, the one at the top. So here's his layout with his ads, this project he was just working on. And so he doesn't have any 4x4s left, but there was one here. And so what he did was he just got rid of one. I think we're actually going to make another 6x6 and move this guy over. So we'll do that. So you can take and move these, of course, if need be. And he needed a 6x6. So I'm going to get rid of that and put 6x6 in here. Now it'll give it a number. Of course, it'll give it a number. This guy's going to go over here. If the setting is on. So it's got show images and show ID. Show ID gives it a number automatically. But if you wanted to change it, like if you wanted to change this to whatever number, I'm not going to because we've already got so many different numbers on here. But if I was going to change it, you just click on it, say set ID, and then you put your number that you wanted to change it to and OK. And it's telling me there's already a 2 because there was already a 2. But it would change it to that number. If you wanted to split a 4x4, you basically just take off your 4x4, click on it, remove it. Go here and grab you a 4x2 and add you a couple of those. I normally take them, you know, let's say they were going to go here, you can move them down there. I normally take them take them and click on them and say set ID. And so if that was 30, I'd say 30A. And then the other one, I would give it 30B. And say, okay. So then you have both of them. So that's how you split them and make those. Now, whatever you do, you have to make sure it's going to fit on all of your other spots. So what we want to do is save this. So what the changes that we made stay there. So we'll say save. And okay. And now you can, if you want a copy of this to have in your kit, you can, that you're presenting in your presentation book, says letter size, and then you're able to print it out. I'm going to close that. So I want to make sure that the rest of the sizes match up to that. And anything that's not like a circle that we can't do it with, your odd sizes that you're sending a template we can't do it with. So what you're going to do here is we changed layout table number 1. So we'll say make this 30 by 60 match that. Of course, when they lay it out, they're going to spread them out, but we basically want to make sure all the same sizes match up on all the layouts. So when you go to put an ad in, the inventory is not conflicting and everything is correct. Once you've saved all those, you go down here to the bottom and say update. This blue button at the bottom is important whenever you put anything in, so that it actually goes in and saves in the system. Anybody have any questions on that?
Not a question, but I would say that sometimes it takes it a minute to update.
It does sometimes. Yeah, you should be able to go back in here and all these match up. 87742.
I've already got the email that it's been modified.
Yeah, and you'll get an email saying that it's been modified, so that you're able to open it up and see that. So that's basically how you do it. You just go to your projects and go on. This is your restaurant area, so you're going to go to the table order form information area, and you're going to say edit. And of course, the one you're going to change is always going to be your smallest 4-seater table that 4 people sit at. Normally, the majority tables that the majority size that you're doing. When you go to enter a restaurant, I always put that one first, so it's right here at the top. We're making your layout off of it, and everything else matches up to it. Any other questions on that?
I suppose if it doesn't all match, we'll see it there in the ad inventory. Like it'll say, for example, if there was an issue, it would say 2 4x2s on this one and 1 4x2 on the other. Or how do we know there's an issue there?
They won't match up, and when you go to put an ad in, it'll say there's conflicting ads.
Okay.
So you'll have some inventory that'll be one, and some that'll be another. And so when you go to look at, you put an ad in, it may end up on one of these layouts, but it won't end up on the rest. And so to make sure everything matches, everybody's on there, you're good to go.
Great.
So like yours is what, Juicy's? Is that one of them?
You can go to Juicy's for that one if you want. But yeah, I mean, I just wanted to make sure that like if I did have something wrong, it'd be easy to see it, and I would just be able to see that they all don't match up. So that's great.
Yeah,
it's pretty
it'll
straightforward.
say the inventory when you go to, but also it should say here. It should show here. The only one that won't show is like, good example, there's a 48-inch round. That one won't show any inventory on it because we can't do a layout through our system on the website anyway for round tables. So any odd sizes of round tables won't have any, but you want to make sure that the rest of them all match up.
Great. Perfect.
Cindy, off the subject a little bit while you're in there. You guys mentioned at the meeting about sending notes instead of emails. Can you show what you're talking about while you're in there?
Sure. Are you talking about notes for your layouts or notes for your ads?
Notes, let's say to support or something. Let's say somebody canceled or they want it round instead of square or something like that. Where do you go to put those notes?
Okay, so for instance, I'm just going to go in this one, and let's say that this mobile mowers, you wanted to put a note in there to let us know you're picking up his ad copy Friday or something, so they're not emailing him and trying to get it. It's going to be up in here where it shows that where you try to contact them, things like that. This now if it's for the add-in, you could put a note. They want it to be a 4-inch circle or something like that. You could put it in the ad instructions, the notes. But anytime you talk to them or anything like that you want to have a note on there, you can put it up here in the notes. That'll get to them so that they have that information.
How soon do they get an alert that note has been added?
Do what?
Do they get an alert? Like, say, if I add a note in there and said, they want to change the entire color scheme. Okay. How soon does support see that note?
Okay, so if it's for an ad that's changed, let me go to one that has an ad on it. Probably need one that's got. I'm just going to grab one. These are all approved that I'm in, but so a note's for the ad itself. So let's say they decided they wanted the phone number to be read. So you can go down here in the comments, send comments, put it in here, make the phone number red and send. And then there would be a reject button up here. Right now this one's approved, so it's not, but there would be a reject and you'd click on reject. So you'd send your message, hit reject, and it would go right to support. And then it also goes to the graphic designer. So she's going to go pull it and put it in line for him.
Well, I guess what my question is how soon after you add the note does the support or graphic designer see it?
They get a notice right away, just like when you put something in and make a change, and it sends it to you saying that this happened, or when the ad got an email saying that ad was approved. As soon as you put a note in here and hit submit, and then also hit that reject button, it'll go right. It goes right to them. So
Gotcha.
Basically, they're going through them, and as soon as they get to it, then they pull it and take care of it. But they get notified right away. Yep. If it goes a couple days and you don't see anything happening, then I would get with us because somebody missed that message that came through to them. And we'll go get it fixed. It happens occasionally, but normally it goes right through, and then they just kind of go through them as they come in, and they get loads of them a day. So
right. Thank you.
I will say I've had positive results with the new process that Shane talked about at the convention. To be honest, I was a little leery. Older doggies don't like new tricks. But it has worked really well, and it does save some steps and work for me. But, I go in and double, triple, quadruple check everything.
Yep. So if you email the ad to your customer and then they put a change on it and email it back, it'll automatically put it right here in the system for you now, so that it goes automatically to
yes,
the graphics department to be fixed, or if it's approved, it would go to support. It automatically goes to the office, so you yourself don't have to go in, put it in there. So if you email it from here, it'll go right to them.
I did have a couple of customers that bypassed that and emailed me and said they weren't able to reply. But Shane messaged me this morning and he said he made the button bigger so that hopefully it's harder to miss for them to do it the correct way. And so obviously I took care of the ones that emailed me, but anyway, it is a nice enhancement. I'm a fan.
Yes, absolutely. Awesome. Awesome. Yeah, it saves you some work and some steps for sure. Because sometimes, you know, you're out selling and busy and you don't get back to your emails or you've seen them, but then you don't have time right then to put them in the system. And then when later you forgot. And so, oh yeah, I got to get that in the system. This way, if you email it right there and they answer back, reply back, it'll automatically go in the system for you. Any other questions on the system? Any other questions on anything? Anybody got some questions tonight on sales, on restaurants?
I was confused about that button that got changed to make it easier. Where is that?
So when you sell ads and your ad is ready to send to a customer and you email the proof to them from here, it has
okay.
a reply button. So when they can look at it and hit the reply button and approve it or, you know, send a change, whatever it is, and it automatically puts it in. So you don't have to come in here, go to this customer and put it in here, send and reply, you know, whether it's
Okay.
reject or approved.
They can just reply by themselves then.
Yep.
Okay. Got it. Thanks.
And it'll go directly and see it. Crystal, what is a restaurant that's yours that's been, because I know they've been using yours to do that from?
Fat Ernie's is one that we've been using it on.
Fat Ernie's. View ads.
So proof sent,
So,
tech agency. If you want to send that to him again, go ahead. So you
okay. So you just click on it and you'll come down to the ad. Yours doesn't have all that mine does, but yours will have this part. So you can email this proof and you can put whatever optional message that you want. I like to put this is your ad from Ernie's or anything like that. What do you normally put in there, Crystal? You want me to put some certain thing? It's gonna look like it comes from.
I did put stuff in there to start with, and then it says it was optional, so I just made it optional, and then I just click send invitation.
Okay. So you can just send it here?
Mm-hmm.
I haven't had to use that one yet.
Yep.
Anyway, and they'll get it, and then if he replies back, it'll come back in here, and we'll be able to see what it is.
Yeah, we get an email when they approve it that it's approved, and so then I just go in and save that email then in our folder showing that, you know, we got an email that said that it was approved, but you know, we don't have to go into the account and approve it like we used to.
Yeah, you used to have to come in here and click approval. Like, I won't click approval on it, but on this particular one, you used to have to come in here with the copy of the email. Like if you had sent an email, I copy the whole email address, everything, so they know it's coming from the customer, and then paste it here, send, and mark approved. Or if they send a change, you paste it here, send, and mark reject. Well, now with the new system, it can put it in there automatically. Any other questions? Anything else too? It doesn't have to be on the website or ads or anything like that. I know there's a group of you. We're doing a training tomorrow to really go through this back office site for restaurants to start with, and then we'll do it again for all the ad stuff. So don't get overwhelmed. We'll do it. We'll just take it step by step, and once you do it, it's pretty simple. Once you start doing it, of course, we keep adding new things to make it even easier. All right. Any other questions? Anybody?
You guys did such an awesome job. They don't even have any questions.
Hey, hey.
Let's go with that.
I'm gonna stop record.